Rightio, welcome to Sunday evening here in Riverina, which is in New South Wales. I'm Tony Bosworth, and yeah, I'll tell you what I'm going to do today, apart from wearing a hat, because it's a bit cold again today. It's been very, very warm the past few weeks, but yeah, got a bit chilly tonight. Anyway, what I'm going to do, you'll see this one's called the Astrakhan'S feather. So I'm going to read from this book that I wrote. And I wrote it about 8 years ago. It's never been published. And there's no good reason for that. I can tell you, no good reason at all. But let me tell you the background to it, because I think I probably mentioned it before, but as you're here, and I'm going to read the Astrakhan's feather to you, or some of it, as we get through the next 25 minutes or so. Anyway, so here's what happened. I got in touch with a book agent in the UK. Really, that's the only way to get a book out there, unless you're going to do it online and hope people are going to notice it, which is pretty hit and miss. The book agent thing's pretty hit and miss as well. Anyway, this agent I got in touch with, I wrote a really brilliant letter because I was so fed up we're not getting anywhere with books. And she's the agent for Lee Child, who sells billions of books every week. And anyway, so I got in touch with her, and she came back to me. I sent her the first few chapters of Christ, right? Just stick with it. And that, which is about Steve Christ, and he's a police inspector. And he works in the township, little villagey type thing, place called Bone Mountain. Now, that's very similar to where I live, and I based it on that. And he's a policeman here, and he had to solve a crime, or several crimes as it happens. Anyway, so what I did was I sent the first few chapters, and I sent a good letter. Honestly, it was one of the best things I've written, saying I wanted to, be a top-selling author, blah, blah, blah. Couldn't think of a better place to be, all these sorts of things. And she came back to me and she said, "You're a great writer of fiction, of action fiction." And I thought, oh, that's brilliant. This is one of the world's top agents. And she said, and I hadn't written the rest of the book at that stage, right? I had it in my mind. And she said, "Please send me the rest of the book. I'm really looking forward to seeing it." But she made the point that she said, "I don't know if Christ has enough background story there to carry the story through." Right now, this comes under the heading of, don't listen to other people, even if they think they know what they're doing with it. Go with your gut. Go with your gut feeling, right? In the past, sometimes I've ignored the gut feeling, and it's always been to my cost, so I try not to now. But in this case, I thought, well, she's saying this, and she said, "Oh, you need to expand his character out a bit," right? So what I did was I wrote this book, and it became the Astrakhan's Feather. It took me a long time to write. I love this book. I've got to say, it's got a lot of detail in it. It really builds characters. Anyway, I sent it off, and I think they weren't happy I'd changed the title, but I wanted to change the title to the Astrakhan's Feather. It made more sense. So anyway, cut a long story short, it was read by a couple of their readers, and it took a long time, 6-7 months, and they came back and they didn't like it. And they said, it's too heavy, it's too big, you should cut it right down. So then what I did was I then cut it right down, named it Christ, as I was originally going to do, chopped out a couple of characters, including this one here, Karen Allen, who's a first person you'll meet in this book. And yeah, I wished I hadn't listened to it. I was saying Christ, when I'd finished it, and it was good. It's good, very good books, to the point. It's a good crime thriller, and they didn't like it, right? So I got nowhere with it. It took me probably about 2.5 years all told doing these books. Anyway, that was kind of it, really, and a dead end there, and it was incredibly depressing, actually. I've got to say, I didn't even go near the computer for about 2 months. I just couldn't face it. Anyway, I'm going to read you. I like the Astrakhan's Feather, but I'm going to read it to you, and you can see if you like it, right? And yeah, we'll go from there. And it's been interesting. I was looking at it obviously earlier on this evening, and I thought, I'm just going to change the beginning around. So I've swapped a couple of chapters. It's a constant work in progress, right? So anyway, let's just see. One of the things about it is the people who read the book in London were a couple of women, and they both said it's got a sexual undercurrent, as if that was a bad thing, And I thought, well, it has. Yes, it has. But I mean, that's what the story is about, right? It's about that, and it's about crime. It's about all these other things. It's about character, Anyway, so yeah, stick with your gut feeling, I think. Anyway, listen, here we go. I'm gonna just get it up here now, and I can read it off. And I don't have a printed version, so there you go. Okay, so this is how it begins. The Astrakhan'S feather. Picture, I'm not, this doesn't say this, I'm going to tell you. Picture a hot Australian summer, right? And, or anyway, here we go. Water slides off Karen Allen's small but perfectly formed body as she boosts herself out the pool, water puddling round her feet, wet tiles turning the colour of Terry's chocolate orange. She turns slowly, frowning at the mountainside and its silent battalion of trees. It's hard to shake the feeling someone's watching. She bends her head, winds her long black hair tight, squeezes warm water. The air hums with heat. Cicadas scream. Two lorikeets squeal and wheel and flash by. An immobile kookaburra watches her from a limp leaf tree, feathers puffed. Some lumpy, slow bug buzzes by so loud and close, she feels it tickle her ear. An insect clicks and ticks, a noise growing in intensity before dying away. A gecko runs crazily between her brown feet, flicking a glance back at her before diving off the patio into the long grass, rustling through it like paper. Now, that bit of it, that's exactly what happens out here. I'll just say no more. She plucks her sunnies, that's sunglasses for anybody not from Australia, off the wooden table, slips them on and smooths her damp hair back with both hands as she squints up at the sky. She breathes slow and deep. When the storm comes, it'll be a monster. Oops, hang on. I've just lost my place here. Bear with me. Just a bit background music there. When the storm comes, it'll be a monster. The screen door slaps, echoing through the stone house. She pads quiet as a cat down the long hall, cool, dark hallway and through the small, neat lounge with its view of the climbing mountain forest off to the side of the house through French doors. In her bedroom, more French windows lead out onto the wraparound wooden deck, sheltered under oversized eaves to give shade from the summer heat. Sometimes at night she has the doors flung open, just the mozzie screen between her and the deep black night with its myriad noises and darting insect lights. Karen slips out the bikini, drops it to the floor, bends to the bed and smiles as she smooths the fine blue silk blouse with one hand. She steps in the ensuite. The shower roars. The sandstone house has a peacefulness that settles on you as soon as you walk in. Over 150 years old, it's long and low, and in the sunlight often takes on the colour of golden bread. In the cool shower, Karen lathers her body and sings softly. All right, there you go. That's the first bit. And then I'm just going to go back to the next bit now, which originally was the first chapter. Now, this bit of it's in Sydney. Christ, you remember when you used to be someone? Vinny leaning back in the chair, black wife beater tight but unable to contain the curling black chest hair, small black running shorts stretched over thick hairy brown legs, toes curling in thongs. That's flip-flops to you. Legs astride so anyone passing can see the stallion's cock slumbering in there, black eyes glittering like a fish in the rainbow light shining off the water, hair worn long, loose, slick, black as Exxon sweet crude. Christ leans forward over the nickel table. You look so gay. Vinny smiles. Yeah, I do. He gets up, waving to the kids messing down by the harbour side. He shakes his head. One day someone will fall in there and drown. This is true. Sydney Harbour, right? They've only recently put railings up. Before that, it was totally open. You just walk right along by the side on the quay side, right? And you could easily fall in. Any kid could fall in. It's ludicrous. Anyway, Vinny says, Judah, Sax, Eve, get on over here. We're going in, kids. They run, screaming, jumping, 5-year-old Saxon hopping from one foot to another. Being a rabbit this morning, hands curled in front of him, Bugs Bunny front teeth. Tudor running, brushing 7 years of spun caramel floppy hair from his eyes. Eve laughing, looking at T with Vinny's black eyes. I've done it again. The thing is, these kids are based, the two boys are based on my two boys who were that age when I first came up with the story. And Eve is based on Vinny. Vinny's one of my friends, different name. That's not his real name. George's real name is. He has a daughter called Eve and a son actually now, but he wasn't born at that stage. Anyway, so Vinny was thinking, I'll have to watch out for that young man. My daughter, the way she looks at him. If I had a double barrel and I was back in the old country, I'd be cocking it. He would too. A ferry hoots, its wash curls up the side of the harbour wall, slow and gold as honey in the bright morning light. Sunlight flickers through chuckling water fountains as they tumble laughing through hissing doors, sucked into a sudden cool and quiet world. One family ticket, please. Vinny runs on the spot, knees high, the kids watching him suspiciously. Christ leans on the counter, giving the bespectacled, obese woman behind the grill a smile. He's never seen glasses so thick. Finger smudges cloud the edges of the lenses. Her brown eyes look big as planets. Christ's orange and red Paul Ropp shirt flutters. The invisible air-conditioned breeze makes his eyes water. He crinkles them like George Clooney, brushes a hand through his short, fuck you grey hair. Where's the mother? Says a woman behind the counter. I added that in. The mother, says Christ, feigning surprise. Yeah, says the woman, leaning forward on her counter and making it creak like a tea clipper climbing a tall wave. The stick-like girl next to her with the Tracy badge shoots her an alarmed glance. You know, the mother in this family. Vinny stands next to Christ, a bare, brown-muscled arm round his friend's shoulders, and gives a woman a look. We're a gay family. You're what? We're gay. We're a family. She looks at the Italian and the grey-haired bloke with a smile that reminds her of someone. A couple of blokes moved in next door to her and her mum last summer and said they were brothers. You never can tell these days. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, says Vinny. We're together, spliced, hitched, in love. Brothers doing it for themselves. Proud we are. Very proud, says Christ, employing the Clooney smile again. The family rate means you have to be a family, a real family. Vinny leans into the grill and hisses, You saying gay families are not welcome here, Brianna? The woman clutches her name badge quickly as if Vinny had made a grab for her breasts. Maybe this is a sexual undercurrent, I don't know. You'd need at least 2 hands, maybe more, Vinny thinks, and a Fiat Turbo Diesel truckload of encouragement to be going there. Tracy nudges Brianna. Let him in, but look at the queue, Brie. Vinny, Christ, and the kids turn, gazing at the snake of people craning to see what's holding them up. Christ gives them the George Clooney smile, the one where he looks gay. When I am a big man, I will buy me one of these LO cars, says Saxon from the comfort of the hand-stitched cream buffalo Ferrari Enzo driver's seat. Brum, brum. He suddenly stands on the seat, leans out the open window, shakes a small fist and shouts, Hey, out of my way, sucker. I told you, said Christ. He listens and learns. Vinny shakes his head. I never say sucker. He's 5. He can't get his tongue around an F. Funny. In the passenger seat, Tudor, arm resting on the windowsill, tilts his Ben 10 watch, catches the overhead lights and makes it glow green. Eve strokes his arm. The boy smiles at the girl who was born on a Sunday, 2 days after he entered the world, pissing a silver arc in the air. It's a boy, said the midwife, holding him at arm's length. Yes, Christ, I said, smiling, our firstborn. Jesus, breathes Vinny, looking at them. They're just kids. Oh, yeah, tell me again when you don't get home on time. Hey, listen, what I said before outside. Christ pinches the bridge of his nose, closes his eyes, looks at the floor. Yeah, I just meant, yeah, I know, it's fine. Yeah, right. And one day I'll be driving a canary yellow Ferrari Enzo. Well, says Christ, it is a very good gay choice. You're so funny, you know that? Christ bites his lip, looks down. He has no right to be funny or even cheerful, really no right at all. Come on, Christ. Vinny punches him on the shoulder. Let's look at the scooters. And then off we go to another scene. And this is Glory Rich. How are we doing time-wise, folks? That's good. Glory Rich spends the afternoon wandering grassy aisles between the tents and food stalls as brightly coloured streamers snap in the hot breeze. Every man looks at her in a brief red top, the strong hot wind lifting the silky ends from her flat brown stomach as she strides by on long brown legs in raggedly cut shorts. Her gold sandals over pink glitter-painted toes wink in the sun. When she looks up at the sky, a bead of perspiration tickles and tumbles between her nut brown breasts. She smiles. Her ears roar like the sea. This is what happened before. It's in italics here, right, which you can't see. Her ears roar like the sea. Jesus, she's never gone this far before. If she'd had her dough brown eyes open, she'd have seen the clouds thicken. If she'd been paying attention, she'd have felt the hot air compressing. But his tongue is in her mouth. It's a bit sexual, isn't it? She's sucking on it like she's mad, eyes shut tight, funfair colours whirling behind her eyelids. Someone is groaning, and it's her, as his hand slides up under the shorts. It's so warm in the car, even warmer than outside. His hand stops teasingly short of her damp panties, wet cotton biting and making her squirm. Oh, it is so good to be 16, she thinks. She shifts on the leather seat. It creaks under her as she pushes herself onto his fingers. He presses them back at her and she opens her legs a little further and groans. It's sexual, isn't it? but it's important for the story. He crushes his lips against her hard and she sucks and writhes. She loved him from the first time she saw him. Even though he's older, it doesn't matter. More experienced I am, glorious glory, he told her with a smirk. And so he was, or at least his hands and fingers and mouth were. When she hears it, she thinks the rain has come at last. But when she opens her eyes, the man is there, clammy face pressed flat to the glass, his stick tapping. She shivers now at the memory. She stands roadside, the fair lawn closed. A fat drop of rain trembles on her brown arm. She stares closely, smiling at its fragility and strength, until it bursts, bleeding a second of delicious warmth on her skin. A sudden howling blast of hot air pulls her long auburn hair tight, and she looks up at the sky as the storm surges. Low black clouds sweep in and make the mountains disappear. It does happen like that here, right? It can happen really bloody quickly. She shivers again, even though the air is hot as hell. That's a good point as well. Summer storms, that's when most of the storms are. She loves nature, but this is something else. This makes her afraid. A fast car whistles past, ripping a scream away. The Quicksilver Tesla S with the blind black windows cruises past the fairground where folks struggle with tarps and streamers buffeted by the hot wind, climbing smoothly away from the sweating, noxious town. That noxious town, that's Currajong, right? Just so you know. Tudor and Sachs sleep soundly in the back. They drive past dairy fields in the deepening violet light, slowly rolling the day from one world to the next. Butterscotch cows stand knee-deep in fields of lime green. One has his head to the fence, nose deep in a discarded McDonald's box, chewing contentedly. How about that? I thought that was quite a good scene, right? A cow eating meat. As they would, probably. The breeze sends waves rolling through the sea of grass. You see that? Christ jumps. What? The girl. A girl? By the side of the road. She was thumbing. Oh, no, I was talking to you and driving. What was she doing? Thumbing. Oh, okay. Hope she gets a lift soon. Jenny leans back in her seat, smooths the black pleated skirt and stares out the windscreen where fleshy raindrops are beginning to splat. Oh, she says quietly, I think she will. Christ looks at her and frowns, a bad feeling spreading through him like a disease. She'd forgotten to hold her thumb out. Jesus, Glory, how dumb can you get? She hears another car coming. It doesn't even slow, and she closes her eyes against a slipstream of grit and soggy leaves. The clap of thunder makes her scream. Blackness hovers and hums. Lightning slashes and stabs Oza and crackles and burns tartly. The sudden deluge makes her clothes completely see-through. Maybe that's what makes the expensive dark car slow down, stop just past her, brake lights glowing in the murk, engine mumbling. She hesitates for only a split second, then runs towards it, gold sandals slapping water as she struggles through air, dark, hot, and claustrophobic. It's like running in soup. She almost gives up, but she doesn't. Rain jumps up and down on the car's roof. She opens the door. No interior light, but air conditioning makes it cool and inviting. She smiles and slides in. The door whoops when it closes. When Karen steps from the corners of the house, fresh, showered, blue silk shirt and skirt cool against her skin, the sudden compressed hot air makes her head swim. She flops inside the Peugeot and turns the aircon to full. The heat inside the car reminds her of France, or perhaps it's just the smell of eau de Peugeot. She smiles. It could be worse. It could be cold. Karen doesn't much care for the cold. It's one reason she's decided to swap the murky, dreary streets of a winter in South London for the warmth of this foreign summer. Still, it isn't perfect. She always thought the countryside would be quiet, but overall it's noisy, dusty and dirty. There's constant chatter, not just the insects, which you can live with after a while, but the buzz, whine, chirrup, chatter and scream of chainsaws, the maniacal whippersnippers roaring, smoking mowers belching half-burnt fuel. And she doesn't understand why people move to the country, then start chopping trees down. Every day she has to stop the Peugeot somewhere on the short journey to work or back because of a gang with a truck and chainsaws chopping and feeding majestic trees into a chipper that spits and coughs out garden mulch. I just had to have that wind there. She points the 207 out the short driveway, drives it fast along the dirt track, pulling red dust until the lane T-bones a winding tarmac mountain road. She looks left, right, and gazes up at the sky, bruised as a boxer. 2 large raindrops hit her screen, make her jump. A car in silver with blind black windows squeals around the corner on the main road and rockets past her up the motor mountain. Karen's small French car trembles. Dick, she says. She looks left, right again. The silver car's gale painted the Peugeot's screen dirt red. The washer spit. Karen flicks the wipers. For a second, it looks like blood runs down the glass. She shakes her head at herself. The front wheels spatter damp dust on the car's black skin as she pulls out, turns right, and heads down to Kurrajong. All right, we'll leave it there for the moment. So we've done 20 minutes. Not it's a time thing, but anyway, let me know what you think of it. And subscribe, please. Just subscribe. You don't even have to come on here, right? Well, you do to subscribe. Just do it, right? Get these numbers up. I've got to work out a way to actually get some more income coming. I'm just not making enough money, right? It's a real problem. It really is. I'm living in a bit of a cell now, right? It's going to be even worse. Soon I'll be filming it in a tent soon, right? Or back of my car, which could be a novel thing, I suppose. Anyway, take care. Look after yourselves. It's pretty early at 7:10. I'm going to probably watch something on Netflix or Prime Video, I reckon. Tell you what, Prime Video, that really bugs me. That does. I think Netflix also do this, don't they? Where you pay monthly fee, right? And then what they do is you get a new film comes out and they decide you've got to pay extra for that. I never do it. Never. Why would you do that? What's the point of paying for access to this service if you can't access everything there and you've got to pay extra, right? It's bonkers. I'm not doing it. Anyway, I'll go and watch something for, well, not for free, but I'm not paying extra. Anyway, look, not sure what I'll do tomorrow. I might do some more chapters of the Astrakhan'S Feather. I might do my top secret history, or if something really bugs me between now and tomorrow, I might do real tart. It's a whole program of things, right? It could be anything. So tune in and yeah, see what I'm up to tomorrow. Anyway, take care. Have a good night, a good morning, or a good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. And yeah, we'll see you soon, hopefully. And yeah, you can always comment if you want, you know, as long as it's nice and pleasant. I don't like nasty comment. And yeah, if I can get this mouse to work, gink, there you go. Bye.